and the sports animals talk here. ESPN Honolulu, KKEA Honolulu, AM 1420 and 92.7 FM.
Fentanyl and causing the death of former pitcher Tyler Skaggs in 2019. Kay now faces a minimum of 20 years in prison. Major League Baseball and the Players Union met for 15 minutes today in regard to negotiating for a new collective bargaining agreement. As expected, the two sides are very far apart as spring training facilities remain closed during this now 12-week-old lockout. The Minnesota Vikings introduced Kevin O'Connell as the new head coach. O'Connell asked about the Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins and whether he's the guy to run the offense next year. And O'Connell spoke rather glowingly about Cousins.
I know who he is as a player, and I know what he's capable of. And part of our job as coaches is maximizing a player's ability to go out every single Sunday and have success. So I feel like that's going to be an advantage for us as we build our system offensively. Make sure we really focus on the things Kirk does well, which I do think are a lot of aspects of playing the position. It takes all 11 to move the football on offense, to run it, to throw it, to score points in the red zone.
That's new Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell. The NBA about to hit the All-Star break, but first, 5 games on this Thursday schedule, including Milwaukee and Philadelphia as they go to the second quarter in Wisconsin. The Bucks lead it by 3. Top 25 college ball, one team already a winner. Number 21, Murray State over Austin P 91-56. Number 14, Houston, coming up next on ESPN2.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
The two people that New York Knicks fans had lauded about were Julius Randle and Tom Thibodeau. Are these the right people to build our franchise?
More from the guys Friday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Welcome to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. In the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Good afternoon and welcome again to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Also on our Facebook page. Gary Dickman here with Derrick Lowe. Getting ready for a road game against UC San Diego. It'll start exactly 1 hour from now. This is the first time, and Derrick, we've been doing this every week for a while. This is the first time Hawaii is playing a conference opponent for the second time, due to some canceled games, of course. And this game doesn't count in the Big West standing, but it's a team we're familiar with, and that says a lot. We'll get into San Diego coming up in a little bit. Derrick, first, let's look back at Saturday night against Cal State Fullerton. You and I talking before the game. We're hopeful for a game like that after a tough loss to Long Beach State. I think we got exactly what we wanted in a very convincing win against Fullerton.
Oh, man. You know, I think we all had the question, right? I think we were all asking, after 3 losses in a row, can UH bounce back? How can they respond, right? And like you said, they couldn't have responded any more perfect, right? They had a good game. It took them a while to adjust to Fullerton. It took them 1 half, right? Yeah. And then once that second half came, they kind of started to figure things out, and they just led by DeRozier's 7 straight points. Then they just skyrocketed, right? So really, really good game to watch, and it's good to see UH get back on it.
What stood out to me among a lot of things, because a lot of things did stick out to me, but the defense overall. In the first half, Fullerton shot 36%, second half 29%. You and I before the game talked about the leading scorer at the time in the Big West, E.J. Anosike. He was held to 2 of 10 shooting and 4 points by the player you just mentioned, Jerome DeRozier, who deserves a ton of credit for his defense. We talk a lot about his offense, but what an effort he had on Saturday on D.
Every time the opponent has a good big man, we always put DeRozier on him, you know, and I think it's an overlooked thing, but DeRozier has really good interior defense. He might be smaller and undersized at 6'8", right? He's listed at, but he's really strong, right? He holds all those guys. He holds his ground. He battles in there, and he makes them fight for everything. And last night, you know, one of the leading scorers in the league had a hard time going against him. But you know, I think it's also a team effort, right? He can't do it alone, but you know, he did a really good job. And the other thing I want to mention is I thought UH did an excellent job on the defensive rebounding.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like every time they held Fullerton to one and done. they got one shot, boom, UH cleaned it up, and then we're going down on offense already. So that was really good too.
Hawaii beat them on the boards, by the way, 45-31, and on the defensive boards, it was 34-23. And it was like that basically in the first half as well. Yeah, Hawaii did a good job. And, DeRosier with his defense, remember a few weeks ago we talked about what he did against Colin Velt, preseason player of the year from Irvine, who, by the way, they'll play this Saturday morning as well. He held him to, I think, a very quiet 11 points last month. So DeRosier doing a great job. That was key. And again, the team defense was really good. Kamaka Hepa with another block shot, and not just a block. I mean, he just destroyed that basketball, pounding it into the ground. And Junior Madut had a nice block, also with a double-double in that game, and 5 assists and 0 turnovers. He had a really, really nice game. Another player you and I have talked about that it's not his natural position, playing the point, but in the last 2 games, 1 turnover combined. That says a lot about Junior. I think he's getting a lot better in that position than maybe we had seen in mid-January or so. Give credit to him.
Yeah, a lot of guys stepped up in the game, but I also want to take the time to recognize McClanahan. He had 2 points, 3 assists, 5 turnovers. Okay, 5 turnovers is a lot, and I like to scrutinize, point guards just because that's what I'm used to, right? But,
sure.
I can honestly say he played actually a really good game because Fullerton applied a lot of pressure, especially Milstead. Milstead, you notice in the beginning, he's real quick with his hands. He actually stole the ball from Coleman once and had another steal as well, but he's real active with his hands. And I thought that when McClanahan came in, he, aside from his 5 turnovers, because it was expected he'll get turnovers, but I thought he handled the pressure pretty well, and it was just nonstop. I mean, he had to take all that pressure, and I thought he did a pretty good job given, the circumstances. So I really like how he played as well.
I agree with you on that, and that's something interesting because, again, if you just look at the stats don't tell the complete story in almost any game. There's other factors involved and things you don't see in the stats. 5 turnovers by itself doesn't look good, but I agree the way he handled himself. A few of those, I think, were at the end. Not that you want to get him at the end either, but the game was pretty much out of reach when I think he had at least 2 of them down the stretch. Again, it wasn't his best game, but he still adds a lot of steadiness. And he and Junior Madut now, where that might have been a weak spot, the point guard position early on, maybe not a weak spot, but one of the weaker ones compared to the other starters. I don't think it's that anymore. These guys can score. They're both comfortable in the offense from where they're playing. McClanahan coming off the bench where he started early in the season. When Bernardo da Silva came back, McClanahan went to the bench, and everybody basically moved down a spot from where their position is. But I think both point guards are doing a pretty good job. I know people are talking about Justice Jackson already. That'll be next year when he'll get a chance. But right now, I think that position is really helping this team. And they did a good job on Saturday night. Overall, I mentioned Madut with the 5 assists as well. And this is a Fullerton team that Hawaii went into that game, a game in back of them in the standing, and needed to beat them, which they did, of course, in convincing fashion. And they really played as well as they have played maybe in the last 3 weeks. And I think that was important because you mentioned the 3-game losing streak. All those games, they were in it until the last minute or two. They needed a win, and I think getting a win the way they did on Saturday hopefully will help them and bode well for not only this week, but the next couple of weeks as well.
Oh, absolutely. And from my understanding, we're a half game ahead of Irvine, correct?
Well, see, we're tied with them in the standing, but we had the tiebreaker because we beat them head-to-head. We only played them once this year. Now, I want to double-check on this. I heard Josh Pacheco talking about this, I believe, yesterday or the day before. For some reason, the Big West lists Fullerton ahead of us in the standings, even though we have the same record. Usually the team that owns the tiebreaker will be listed ahead. I will clarify that by halftime and let everybody know if not sooner, but I believe it used to always be head-to-head. The only thing that might change that is because some teams might not play anybody once, and maybe you don't play them twice, so they might have changed it, but usually the tiebreaker, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. So that was a critical win for Hawaii, and hopefully they'll get, a few more wins where, for example, Fullerton's playing a game today. We'll go over the scores, but Hawaii might get some help this weekend from Fullerton and Long Beach State, hopefully on the losing end. I don't know if that's definite, but we'll keep our eyes on that. For Hawaii, they still have to continue to win. And I think Saturday night, again, goes a long way for that. I'm going to throw this out right now to get your thoughts on this. When you look at the standings right now, and Hawaii's in a good spot at 7-3. I mean, I know it was a tough losing streak, but Hawaii overall still having a good year. There's only 5 games left in conference play that count. Tonight's game doesn't count in the standing. So Hawaii is at 7-3, Fullerton's at 7-3, Long Beach State with a 2-game lead. If Hawaii goes 4-1 in these last 5 games, which might be asking a lot, you got Irvine and Santa Barbara on the road for starters. If Hawaii goes 4-1, Long Beach State would have to go 2-3, and then you still are at a tie. I don't know if Long Beach State's going to go 2-3. To be honest, I hope Hawaii goes 4-1. That might be asking a little bit too much. My point being that first place is going to be difficult to achieve by the end of the regular season. Not impossible, not at all, but it's going to take a lot of on Hawaii's end and some help from the teams in front of them.
Yeah, I have to agree on that. Especially the way Long Beach is playing right now. We said that they're a red hot team right now, and they seem to have things figured out at the moment. But like you said, we don't know. Second round, right? We're going into the second round now. So yeah, teams are a little bit different, especially tonight's game against San Diego, completely different team. And so, yes. I'll be able to say that for everybody, different team. You already played them once. You kind of have a good, decent idea and scouting report on them if you didn't before, right? So it's a whole different story second time around. But, like you said, Hawaii just had to keep on worrying about themselves, right? Keep on stacking up good quality games like Saturday's game and let the standings take care of itself. But yeah, the way Long Beach is playing in that first place position, it's going to be a stretch, but not impossible.
Yeah, and we'll go over the scores a little bit later, but they have CSUN on the road tonight. Not an impossible game for them to lose, but let's hope being on the road will help Hawaii's chances. And we'll get into San Diego a little bit later, but when you said it's a different team, literally they are a different team. A lot of different players. We'll tell you more about that coming up. Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here on the Rivals Pregame Show. In just a few minutes, we're going to go all the way to Newfoundland in Canada and talk to Carl English and talk about his great career at the University of Hawaii. You are listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge is your home for the ultimate sports viewing experience. Enjoy all the sports up close and in style. Enjoy March Madness with the best wings in town. Watch the NBA with a slice of Waikiki pizza. Then wash it down with an ice-cold seltzer or local brew. Rivals has one of Oahu's most extensive whiskey collections too. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Home renovations on your mind? Finance Factors can help. We've been helping Hawaii's families for 70 years. Whether you're looking for a home equity line of credit or a cash-out refinance, our experienced loan officers are here to help you reach your home goals. Call us at 808-548-3300 or apply online at financefactors.com. Finance Factors, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 449916, member FDIC.
Here's a team physician tip from Dr. Jay Marumoto.
The majority of meniscus tears in athletes over 30 can do better without surgery if properly diagnosed and treated by the highly skilled sports doctors at Orthopedic Associates.
Dr. Jay Marumoto is the University of Hawaii's most senior team surgeon. For the most advanced sports injury care, contact Orthopedic Associates at 536-2261 or go to oahawaii.com. Orthopedic Associates, Hawaii's team physicians.
Well, what you doing now?
I'm doing my own PV system and I get homey fall-proof gear.
Well, I don't think bubble wrap is actually going to work.
Yeah, I get them. Check this out.
Okay. Well, you okay?
I think that heat expanding stuff is true. Getting smoking hot in here.
Oh, no.
It's raining over here. How we pump water stuff?
Oh,
careful.
Make sure to have an electrical contractor and licensed electrician do your photovoltaic installations and electrical work.
IBEW Local 1186, lighting your path to the future.
Are you wondering what to do with that spare car or truck of yours? Maybe you thought about selling it but don't want the hassle. You considered giving it to a friend, but you're not sure if that'll work out. The answer is simple, my friend. Donate your car to Kidney Cars. Yep, the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii makes donating quick and easy, and you'll get a great tax deduction. So go online today to kidneyhi.org and schedule a free Kidney Cars pickup. That's kidneyhi.org.
When you feel like Vegas, There's just one place to stay. Find it at the Cal. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo bar. There's just one place to play. Find it at the Cal. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here. Find it at the Cal.
Get back to Vegas with Vacations Hawaii. Airfare, hotel, meals, and transfers, just $777.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
The Rivals Pregame Show with Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe getting ready for Hawaii going up against UC San Diego a little after 5 o'clock. This is going to be a time where we always welcome a former player, and this is one of the best ever to wear a University of Hawaii uniform. Went to the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row. Such a happy time as we are joined by Carl English here. Carl, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. First, I never heard this part of your story and your career here, but you and Phil Martin come from Canada to come here. Was that kind of a package deal? Did you guys know each other before you came to UH?
We knew of each other. First of all, thanks for having me, guys. We knew of each other. We were both recruited by Scott Rougeau, and then when I went down there, he said we're looking at another Canadian. And then when I flew down, he was already there. So didn't know each other personally, though. No.
When you first came to Hawaii, what was the biggest thing as far as maybe culture shock coming from Canada?
Definitely the weather. I went from one island to another, but jeepers! Right now, let me tell you what we've been through. Yesterday was -20, and today is +10. So there's nowhere else in the world that you'll have complete shifts in the cycle of the weather. But I would say people are very similar. I think that's what I fell in love with. I think that island mentality. I'm from a very small town. Trustworthy, and you kind of know everybody. And when I went out on my visit, just all the people that Coach surrounded me by, and the people that are over there, it just seemed like an amazing place, and it was amazing, definitely.
When you say it's cold there, I just want to let you know. Last night, I think it was 62, and I was freezing here. It was freezing at midnight.
Yeah, I remember when I was living out there, and you just get. Okay, oh Jesus, cold tonight. It was a bit rain. You throw on a sweater. Well, I tell you what, when you got to start your car up 3 times for it to warm up and get the snow off, it's a little bit different.
We talked to you a few years ago on the show, and I forget how many inches of snow you had, but I believe it was over 20. Is that pretty common there?
No, it's been that was Snowmageddon actually. That wasn't a normal thing. This winter's been mild. It'll snow like we had 40 almost. That would be 18 inches the other day, and then it's raining today. So it's kind of up and down. It's been a very strange winter.
Okay. Well, we're talking with Carl English here with the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu and our Facebook page, Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe. Let's talk about your career here at the University of Hawaii from 1999 to 2003. The only team that ever won back-to-back conference tournaments, and you beat them Tulsa both times on the road. I remember those games. I mean, they were just incredibly intense and exciting. Talk about your memories from winning the WAC championship those 2 years in a row to go to the NCAAs.
It was amazing. I think now as you're older and you look back on it, you realize how special it really is. I think when you're there and you're living it, I always say I was young and dumb. You didn't really understand what you were, how special the moment was. I think the first year was incredible to me because I don't know if a lot of people know it, but I was going through a difficult time because I didn't play. I didn't play much till like the last 10 games in the season when I finally got my shot. And then I kind of went into the WAC tournament as a nobody. And I was MVP of the tournament and, had an amazing game in the finals that put us into the NCAA tournament. So that kind of changed my whole trajectory because, to be quite frank and honest, I was getting ready to transfer. And I was kind of just working and training every day for what was coming next, and I wasn't aware. So when Coach Wallace finally gave me the shot, like I was ready because I was hungry. So that first year was just amazing. And then I think as a team, we got the taste of victory and we got the taste of success. So, you always want to repeat. So, when we came back the next year, we were incredibly focused. And then we played a lot of the season without Savo. right? Because he was coming off that suspension, and then when he came back, we were just. It really helped with my growth because I got to play X number of games. I want to say 10, 15 without him, and then when he came back, we just complemented each other, and we were a pretty dangerous team. I have this basketball school, and one of the posters I have up is the NCAA tournament. It's a great shot. Someone took me, and I'm in the mix of a jump shot, and the stadium is full, but it's against Xavier, and there's no way we should have lost to that team. There's no way.
You guys were leading at halftime, I believe, right?
Yeah, we were killing them, but it's the big lights, man. It's you think about when you're playing Hawaii. The biggest tournaments or the biggest games we were getting were the Rainbow Classic. You go to Fresno, it was always a big game because Fresno was always packed. But you take the ACC schools or the Big 12, the big schools, they get that type of publicity every game. Whereas when we went to the tournament, all the camera crews, and I think it just got to our team, and guys were doing things out of the ordinary and making mistakes. And I think the cameras got to us. And it's not something you can prepare for, right? Because you're just, at that time, you're just young and, you haven't been there enough to understand how to act. But, it was an amazing time. It was so special.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Carl, this is Derrick here. Thanks.
Is that the point guard, Derrick Lowe?
Yes. The one and only.
Yes. No, man. Hey, I don't have so much of a question, but just an observation and just listening to you, tell us a little bit of your story about, wanting to transfer, but you just kept working. And then when your shot was called or when your number was called, you were ready. Right. And so I just got to tell you, I think I was in high school at that time. Right. I was just starting my high school at Iolani, and we used to come to all your games. And our one observation of you from the beginning was, this guy plays with a lot of fire, this guy plays with passion. Like you could just see it in your eyes. And me and my best friend Ryan, like I said, we went to every game, and that's one of the biggest things we admired about you, is just the way you played. And now knowing a little bit more about why, right? It makes a lot of sense. But I just wanted to say it was real fun watching you, and you were one of our favorite players growing up, and now we can put a reason, your why, why you had that fire.
Appreciate
so that's super awesome.
I think a big part of it, Derrick, came from my upbringing. I've been through a lot as a kid, and when you lose what I lost at such a young age, you don't take anything for granted. You know what I mean? And then I came from a really small town, and I never should have made it out to play basketball, not alone professional basketball, and at the levels I did. So when I was in Hawaii, I just every moment I relished every moment because you never know when that moment is over. So a lot of times as athletes, especially if your role is not what you want, everybody wants everything now. But what I understood at a young age was I work to get there. So the next step, whatever that is, I got to work to get to it. So I was always ready, and I just play with that hunger. But what I didn't, when I came out there last year. I think it's almost 2 years now with this stupid COVID. But I came out there when they did. I came out there for a game. It's the first time I've been back in. 15 years? I want to say 2006 or whatever. So what I didn't understand, what I didn't get was I could remember Stan Sheriff was rocking, boy. Like it was white out, and I bring those people to their feet. Like it was amazing. And when I was there, what happened to all the fans, man? You're only getting, what are you guys averaging fans?
This year, right now, because of COVID and people a little bit more reluctant, they had their largest crowd of the season on Saturday, and I think it was like 2,800 or 3,400. It was 3,400. Okay. It was 2,800 last Thursday, which was their second biggest crowd.
Okay, well, all right.
But that's mostly because of COVID. I think people, again, are reluctant. And they didn't have fans yet at all last year, so I think it'll probably start growing, but it might not be this year because of everything going on. I want to go back to something you said a minute ago, Carl, about, you're thinking about transferring. What were the conversations like with you and Riley Wallace to maybe change your mind and persuade you to stay?
I was always so scared of Riley, man. Riley was a scary man. Riley is 6'5", 6'6", probably 250. Like, you got to understand, and he's old school and Southern. And one thing I did was I respected the man, but I feared him, and that was the thing. So there wasn't many conversations. What happened was I was just destroying in practice, and like I just came to practice every day on a mission. And remember Neri? Well, obviously Neri's Pruda. So Nereus, and I want to say Troy, but I know Nereus was the one that spearheaded it, and him and Riley had a real good relationship. And he's like, you got to give. Riley wasn't big on playing freshmen, and he's like, you got to give him a chance because that was the year of Ricky Terrell and Jeep, and our point guard play wasn't superb. So I was playing incredibly well in practice, and Nereus was the driving factor and said, you got to give him a chance. And then I come into the game and I played well, but I'm obviously a two guard. But when I got into finally, I think the last 7-8 games, I was averaging double figures, and I was always a good rebounder while I was there. So I'd get 4 or 5 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists, and I think one of the greatest compliments I ever had in my career was Tarkanian wrote in the paper when we beat Fresno to go to finals. He's like, who is this kid? He's like a young Jerry West, right? And, you look back on those things now and how special they are because, these compliments, at the time, you don't really understand what they mean, But, no, there wasn't many conversations with Riley. I was too scared of him.
I remember Bobby Curran back when you were playing, labeling you as the best rebounding point guard or guard in the country. And I don't think that could be far off. You were that good of a rebound as well as all the other skills that you had here as well. When you look back on your career here, Carl, what are you most proud of?
I think you're giving me the chills. Again, I wish you guys were closer. Like, I'm on the most easternest point in North America, and you guys are the most western. I wish I could be heavily involved in, my alma mater, and I'm very proud of everything I've done after. I think the winning was obviously the big thing. I mean, we set records with everything we did. We set the standard, I think, moving forward for future teams. I also think opened up the gates of, like, we had a lot of international players. I think that changed a lot because up to that point, maybe it was Gonzaga, Gonzaga was it, or maybe Santa Clara. Someone was always getting, at that time, they had the European path. I think it was Gonzaga always getting the Aussies, I want to say. Or no, was it? What was the West Coast team always getting the Australia?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. Sorry, I had it confused with St. Mary's. So I felt we were doing a great job of that with our recruiting and getting international players, and I think that was our niche at the time. So it was just the whole cultural of bringing the whole island together. Like, that was the greatest part. I mean, I remember when we went on the road, we were traveling with the fans. It felt like home. I must say, it felt like home. So I'm very proud of what we built there when I was there, and to go down as hopefully one of the greatest to ever play there is an amazing compliment. So those things I'll always cherish. So I thought you were going to ask me what was my biggest regret, so that'd probably be the next question. But either way, I'm sure you know what that is too.
What was your biggest regret?
Well, I said I thought that's what you were going to ask me. Probably my biggest regret was not going back for my senior year.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, I had a feeling of that one, too.
That was your agent, though, who told you, though. I mean, he told you were going to get drafted a little earlier, a lot earlier, I guess, right?
Well, all the draft boards had me. The lowest I was 37, or I guess the highest. That was the worst. So I was willing to take the chance. I mean, I made my own decisions, but I relied heavily on their advice. And, again, that's my biggest downfall, is trusting people. That was, again, because of my upbringing, what happened to me. You lose your parents, you have to trust something. You have to believe in humanity. You have to believe there's something bigger coming. So I did trust people, and coming from a small town, everybody knows everybody. You develop that trust, and I trusted the wrong people. I think that could have been a pretty amazing team. I mean, you had Phil coming back, Heim was still there, Kubler was still there. Got in a stub by the name of Julian Sensley, and then myself. I mean, it's a that's a pretty intense team. So you know, you live with what happens, but it would have been pretty special to go back for my senior year.
And you played professionally and overseas for a very long time. And a lot of what you're talking about is in the book, Chasing a Dream, which I know you brought last time you were here a few years ago. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Tell our listeners a little bit about the book and where they can get it.
Well, I think it's still on Amazon, and I know it's sold all through Canada and things. It sold, so it was a bestseller in Canada after 3 days. It sold like 20,000 copies, and we ran out, and then COVID hit, so the publisher never got them out, and then the whole book industry really went to crap. So that was unfortunate. The book it's a basketball story, but it's also a life story. So probably one of the hardest things I've ever did. You know, it was devastating to relive all the failure, all the loss, all the heartaches, and I was trying to do it as vivid as possible so the reader could understand. I thought it'd be a healing process, but it was very difficult to do because, you know, you're trying to make it as vivid, and I'm reliving it, and I'm like, shit, this was crazy. So it's, you know, there was a lot of loss, there was a lot of failure, there was a lot of triumph, and then more failure. But, you know, it tests who I am as a person and believing in myself. And I've always kind of stuck to the saying that it's not about getting knocked down, it's how quick you get back up. And I took that in University of Hawaii as well. You know, I bust an ankle and should be out, you know, 3-4 weeks, and I'm back playing in 2 days with trainer Mel getting me ready. So, you know, it was, you know, it's a testimony of a life story of fighting through losses and failures and ultimately rising up to be successful.
Definitely recommend the book. I wish we could have more time. We could go on and talk about the rest of your career and overseas and what you're doing now. We'll save that for another time. Carl, thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's always great talking with you. Look forward to doing it again in the near future.
Appreciate it, buddy. Anytime, and all the best, and tell the guys good luck.
All right. Thanks Carl.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Carl English joining us. Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu and Facebook. We'll take a break. Derrick and I will come back, talk a little bit about the opponent tonight, UC San Diego, coming up next on ESPN Honolulu.
Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge is your home for the ultimate sports viewing experience. Enjoy all the sports up close and in style. Enjoy March Madness with the best wings in town. Watch the NBA with a slice of Waikiki pizza. Then wash it down with an ice-cold seltzer or local brew. Rivals has one of Oahu's most extensive whiskey collections too. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
I've got the pothole blues, it's the same old news. Every time I hit the streets, my car takes a beat. My alignment is off and my tires are shot. I need to find a way to lose these pothole blues.
It's okay to sing along, but you don't need to have the pothole blues. Lex Brody's Tire, Brake, and Service Company knows how to cheer you up. First, smiling and welcoming faces. Then, the best value on the island for your wheel alignments, tires, and brakes. Whether it's called our Lex Advantage or our Lex Appeal, we are your best value and choice for Michelin and Toyo tires and brake repairs. Wear your University of Hawaii logoed hat or shirt when you visit an Oahu Lex Brody's location and get an additional 5% off your purchase. Go to lexbrodys.com for more details and for our other Super Saver coupons. Thank you very much.
You may have heard about this amazing supplement called astaxanthin. Doctors and pharmacists recommend it for everything from joint and muscle function to cholesterol health and cognitive function, even anti-aging. But did you know only one brand delivers 3 times more astaxanthin to your body, making it a better buy than the competition? Introducing Xanthicin, available at getxantho.com, Newtown Square Pharmacy, Down to Earth Kaka'ako, GNC Stores, and Pharmacare Hawaii. Learn more at getxantho.com.
At DC Asphalt Service, Hawaii's premier asphalt pavement company for 20 years, President Chris Laird trusts Makai HR.
It's important to me that we're dealing with a local company because we're a local company. When you're in Hawaii, it does make a difference. The values, the way we talk to each other, the way we treat each other, it's a local thing.
Mackay HR, your local human resource partner. Visit MackayHR.com/value for your free, no obligation analysis.
Here's something new from Paxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Paxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe live here on ESPN Honolulu. We'll send it over to Bobby Kern in about 15 minutes. Coming up a little bit later, Derrick and I will give our H-Factor player of the game, the Hawaii player that hopefully will have a big impact for tonight's win. We'll tell you the Big West schedule. All the other games do start at 5 p.m., so no games will be in action when we wrap it up. Just one last note on Carl English. I didn't want to bring it up really with him on the air, but he kind of alluded to it as he said he lost his parents. It's been well documented over the years. It's in the book. When he was a young boy, I don't know if he was like 7, 8, or 9, right in that range, there was a fire at their house in Newfoundland, and both of his parents passed away in that fire. So he grew up without parents. When he talked about his upbringing, that's what he was talking about. But I definitely recommend the book, Chasing a Dream. It was really, really fascinating, especially, and I imagine everybody listening is a Hawaii basketball fan. You will really, really like that. Okay, Derrick, let's talk about San Diego. UC San Diego came here in January and lost 79-56. However, as Stephen A. likes to say, they were missing 4 of their top 6 scorers due to COVID protocol. So when you said earlier it's a different team, it's not only because we're playing them a second time, it's because their roster is going to look a lot different than it did in mid-January. So they will have some impact players back tonight for this game.
Completely different. As I was telling you earlier, I was looking at the last box score between UH and San Diego, and I was looking at their current roster now, their starters, and I was like, wait a minute, there's 3 players who did not play last game. But like you said, a couple of those players, I don't think Bryce Pope played last game. He's averaging about 14.6 points a game. That Jake Kosakowski.
Yeah, he was the 6th man who didn't play, right?
Yeah, he didn't play. He's averaging 9.6 points, 46.7% three-pointers or
off
something
the bench.
like that.
That's off the bench.
Off the bench. A really good shooter. And then Jake Killingsworth, I believe, another shooter. I think he's shooting low 40% from the 3, maybe 43% from 3. So, definitely a different team. Got a couple shooters that we didn't get to see last time. But I think more than anything, their freshman, Francis Noakori, he had a really good game last time. I forget how much he had, but he did well. And then, of course, Tony Rochak, that's their big gun and whom they run everything through. So going to be a completely different team tonight, much better than the team we saw last time.
Francis Wakaria had 14 points. Another player that they have from the last game is their 6'9" big, Tony Rochak. He had 20 points against Hawaii. Twice he's been the Big West player of the week. He averages just under 15 points, and again, a 6'9" player. That game, one other note about the first time Hawaii played them, the score was 41-18 at the half. Hawaii was running away with them. It was basically dead even in the second half. Then one of the things I also know about San Diego, where it seemed like a lot of teams, and I guess it's understandable, the stats are fairly similar in a lot of categories. One thing they're not that good at, they're very good at, is three-point defense. Their three-point defense is 29.8%. That's what they let up on threes for the opponent. That is really good. Other than that, they're really similar in Hawaii as a lot of stats and numbers in their points per game, shooting percentage. But on defense, watch their three-point shooting defense, which is key for Hawaii. In the beginning of the season, Hawaii was setting records with all their threes. On Saturday night against Fullerton, Hawaii was only 8 of 22, but their best three-point shooter, Noel Coleman, had his best game, as we mentioned, in a while with 4 or 5 threes. I imagine they're really going to key on Noel Coleman tonight. From what they saw in January and what they saw from last Saturday night, they know he's back, and that defense is going to be ready for him, they hope.
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to comment about UC San Diego's defense, from what I've seen, they're completely different than the Long Beaches or the or the Fullertons, where they apply a little bit more pressure, aggressive pressure, with the point guards coming down and past the 3-point line and whatnot. But UC San Diego, they have a little bit more of a pack mentality. What I mean by that is, they guard the ball around the 3-point line, but when someone drives or tries to penetrate, they have heavy help defense where they where they try to eliminate all paint touches, right? So almost they want you to shoot. So if you're on the offensive end and you're struggling to penetrate on them or get to the basket, they want you to try and force and take an outside shot. And being a product of the pack defense myself, we do know that the only way to beat a pack defense is to shoot threes. But it depends, how things are going for the offense. So could work in Hawaii's favor. It could work in UC San Diego's favor. But that's one of the things I noticed. They do have really good defense that surrounds like eliminating penetration, lots of help, and try to make you shoot the three. So
their starting five, by the way, talking about their size, is 6'5", 6'3", 6'5", 6'9", 6'7". Jake Rockamore is their point guard. He's a 6'5" guard. He averages 3.3 assists a game and 6.5 points. Not outstanding stats, but they do have some potential there, and they do have some size advantages, which could be a challenge for the University of Hawaii. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about our H-Factor player of the game, and we'll talk about the Big West schedule and standings as well. You are listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Meadow Gold Dairies Hawaii is honored to support University of Hawaii as their official milk partner, nourishing and fueling UH athletics with chocolate milk, white milk, orange juice, and POG. Meadow Gold is proud to provide families in Hawaii with the best dairy, juice, and ice cream products for over 124 years. As our University of Hawaii continues their quest to win and become champions, we celebrate their success. Go Bows!
Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge is your home for the ultimate sports viewing experience. Enjoy all the sports up close and in style. Enjoy March Madness with the best wings in town. Watch the NBA with a slice of Waikiki pizza. Then wash it down with an ice-cold seltzer or local brew. Rivals has one of Oahu's most extensive whiskey collections too. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
When we talk about reimagining healthcare at Hawaii Pacific Health, we're really talking about you. Because making it easier for you to be healthier is what it's all about. With video visits to see your doctor from anywhere. With virtual urgent care. With more clinics near where you live and work. And with a personalized approach that focuses on prevention. We're reimagining healthcare for you. Visit hawaiipacifichealth.org/telehealth.
Well, what you doing now?
I'm doing my own PV system, and I get homey fall-proof gear.
I don't think bubble wrap and duct tape going to work.
Yeah, I get them. Check this out.
Okay. You okay?
I think that heat expanding stuff is true. Getting small kind of hot in here.
Oh, no.
It's raining over here. How we pop all the stuff? Oh, careful.
Make sure to have an electrical contractor and licensed electrician do your photovoltaic installations and electrical work.
IBEW Local 1186, lighting your path to the future.
Small businesses who switch to Spectrum Business can cut their internet and phone bill in half.
Spectrum Business can cut my bill in half? Really?
It's true. You're overpaying and we can prove it. Grab your bill and visit spectrum.com/business calculator. In just 3 easy steps, you'll see your savings.
Wow, I can save over $1,500 a year.
That's real savings. See for yourself. Visit spectrum.com/business calculator and make the switch today. Restrictions apply.
Ring in the Lunar New Year with Woodcraft Hawaii's special celebration happening February 1st through the 12th. Look for the Lucky Tiger on select products for extra special savings. Also, pick up a lucky red envelope during this sale for a chance to win a fabulous prize. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for even more chances to win. Remember, whether you're a professional woodworker or a do-it-yourselfer, Woodcraft Hawaii is your source for all of your woodworking needs.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here on ESPN Honolulu. We're also on our Facebook page. A reminder, Saturday we'll be on the air at 10 a.m. as the Rainbow Warriors will be at Irvine, a really important game, as we'll get into a little bit more in just a second. By the way, we're going to send it over to Bobby Curran in about 7 minutes. The Rainbow Wahine in first place by themselves. They are playing UC San Diego at home tonight. That broadcast on CBS 1500, 6:50 tonight, Dave Kawada and Tiff Wells. All right, Derrick, I'm going to let you go first as far as picking our H-player factor of the game, who's going to have a real big impact on tonight's game and hopeful victory.
I'm going to have to go with Jerome DeRosier. Last time around against UC San Diego, he had 18 points, 13 rebounds. Really, really good game.
Yeah.
But also, he was tasked with having to guard Tony Rochak, right? Their best player. And, I see nothing different going into the game tonight. I expect Jerome DeRosier to start and have to guard Rochak for majority of the game. And Rochak is a hard cover. I mean, he's a 6'9" guy that likes to kind of hang around or always find his way outside on the perimeter. And then he's very mobile, so he likes to attack the basket, with a different variety of moves. But so I think DeRosier is going to have definitely a challenging night, having to chase him around and try to do his best of stopping him as much as possible, even though that might be hard. But, I do think that Jerome DeRosier has the capability of having a good game against Rochak. So,
and according to the chart, Jerome outweighs him by 15, 235 to 220. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but that's what it says. I'm going to go with Bernardo da Silva again. He had 10 points in that first matchup. That was early in his comeback after being out for a few weeks. He's such an important factor, and I know Chris Hart has said something a couple of times this week in the afternoon show, and he's right. Bernardo da Silva is good, but he's never good enough for 40 minutes. He's got to play more consistently. He puts good halves together. Hopefully he'll have a complete game tonight, and that will be a factor as well. The other games going on in the Big West, Fullerton and Santa Barbara at Santa Barbara, Long Beach State at CSUN, CSU Bakersfield at Riverside, all 5 o'clock starts. Cal Poly and UC Davis canceled. Davis still in COVID protocol. We're going to wrap it up here. I will talk to everybody at halftime, go over the stats and the gold standard player, hopefully talking about a Hawaii win. We'll take a break, and when we return, you will hear Bobby Curran getting us ready for tip-off. Hawaii at UC San Diego on ESPN Honolulu.
Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge is your home for the ultimate sports viewing experience. Enjoy all the sports up close and in style. Enjoy March Madness with the best wings in town. Watch the NBA with a slice of Waikiki pizza. Then wash it down with an ice-cold seltzer or local brew. Rivals has one of Oahu's most extensive whiskey collections too. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Have you been to Midas Hawaii?
Hello, Tim here from Midas Hawaii, where we are more than just mufflers. We are complete auto care, rated #1 in customer service. We strive to make your experience more enjoyable, whether it be for a walk-in safety check 6 days a week, brakes to radiators, or oil changes and steering. With 6 locations on Oahu, 2 on the Big Island, 1 on Kauai, our goal is to expedite your service and get you back out on the road. We also want to help you save money. For great rates, check out our webpage at MidasHawaii.com for specials, online deals, for services such as oil change, safety checks, and maintenance packages. And let's not forget about our tire services too. Midas is a one-stop shop for all your car care needs and is proud to be locally owned and operated by the Pereira family. Come in today or call us for an appointment. Remember, it always pays to have the Midas touch.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar, there's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here.
Get back to Vegas with Vacations Hawaii. Airfare, hotel, meals, and transfers, just $777.
Hardware Hawaii. Customer first in Kailua.
Hi, this is Eddie. I'm the lead lumber for Hardware Hawaii in Kailua. I like helping customers find what they need. It's not like another stranger just shopping here. My customers are like my friends, and then I just help them out, and I feel good. And it just makes my day. We're out here in the lumberyard ready to serve you.
Hardware Hawaii. Customer first in Kailua.
2 is better than 1, especially when it comes to cashback rewards. That's why at Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union, we're doubling what you earn on all your restaurant and transportation purchases the entire month of February when you use your Life Matters Cashback Visa credit card. And don't forget, you'll always earn 1% cash back on all your other purchases too. To learn more or apply, visit hawaiiusafcu.com/double cashback. Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Life matters.